How do you reset yourself when you have totally neglected yourself, your self-care, and everything about you? I'm going to talk about it today, so stay tuned. Hi, and welcome to my channel. In today's video, I want to talk about neglecting ourselves and how to get a reset as far as our self-care goes. I have definitely neglected myself. As most of you know, I have been a caretaker for a while, and that became the priority, as it should be. But in doing that, you end up neglecting yourself. You don't have time for yourself. You don't have time to do the things you need to do to take care of yourself. So that's where I find myself now. Some of it is depression, I'm sure, and some of it was just total neglect. But I need to get myself back on track. So I want to go over a few things we can do if you have let yourself go and neglected yourself for one reason or another. There can be a variety of reasons why we do this. So first of all, I think we have to recognize it. We have to face it and admit it to ourselves that we're not doing the best job in taking care of ourselves in every way, mentally, emotionally, physically, always. By facing that and realizing that, you can begin to make a plan to get yourself back on track. Now, I would suggest taking baby steps. Start in small ways because it can become quite overwhelming when you've neglected every area of your life and your self-care. Now, most of you know that I love skincare. I truly do. But I didn't have the opportunity to do my skincare when I was living at my sister's house. I washed my face, I put moisturizer on it, and that was it. I didn't have time to do anything else, and quite frankly, none of that was on my mind at all. I only had my sister on my mind and what she needed, because that was my priority. So I am trying to get back to a good, healthy skincare routine. Now, I did a AM and PM skincare video a couple weeks ago to show you what I use. And that is what I'm currently using. And it is helping. It's bringing back what I had. Because we can lose ground pretty quickly, especially as we're aging. Because our skin gets dry, it gets dull, it definitely needs exfoliated, and I didn't do any of that stuff for a good, I don't know, probably couple months all totaled. So I'm doing all that now, and that is helping. I've also booked a package with my esthetician to get some hydrating facials, to get some, I think it's called microneedling with a pen or something like that. It's this tool that has little needles in it, looks like an ink pen, and they go all over your face with it. It sounds like they're sanding your face, and it's creating those controlled wounds. Sometimes you will have pinpoint bleeding with it. Me, I went for the full boat. I told her to be aggressive, go deep, and make me bleed. And she did. So I had one treatment last week. I'll try to insert a picture up here of what I looked like. It's quite a sight. And then it takes a good 3 to 5 days for that to heal and the redness to go away. But it's a way to bring your skin back to life, to promote collagen, to take that surface dryness and dead skin off and everything else. So I'll be getting a couple of those along with a couple hydrating facials. Next would be my body skincare. You all know how much I love exfoliating my body. I love the scrubs and the exfoliating gloves and the self-tanners and the retinol lotions that I put on my body to help with the cell turnover. Well, again, I didn't have time to do any of that. So I'm working on that to get my skin back in the best health that it can be. Another thing is eating. Yes, we have to eat right to take care of ourselves. Now, I'm not a great eater, and most of you know that. I'm very picky. There's not a whole lot I like, and I tend to eat the same thing every day, day after day. Well, even with what I normally eat, I wasn't doing that when I was staying at my sister's house. Again, it wasn't a priority for me. I didn't have much of an appetite and I was busy, so I really didn't think about it. I drank a lot of coffee, more than I should have. So now I've got myself back on a good schedule of eating much better, getting as much protein as I can, and I've got myself down to 3 to 4 cups of coffee a day, which is great for me. I mean, that's really an improvement. I've cut it in less than half. Now we'll talk about sleeping. Well, I'm not having too much success with sleeping. I am much more tired than I've ever been before. I have been coming into bed at 5 or 5:15, where I normally used to come in around 6, and I fall asleep pretty quickly. But I don't sleep real solid. I still wake up a lot, and I get up early. But when I get up, I feel beat up. I mean, I feel sore all over. I feel like just a truck ran over me all through the night. And I'm working on that. I use a heating pad. I use it every night. Dave has been massaging my shoulders. Everything is just so tight and you can feel the knots. It feels like a cobblestone street down my back. So he is helping me with that. And of course I move a lot, and I believe that helps. And my walking every day is definitely an advantage and something that I have not stopped and I won't stop because I know how important it is. However, that last week that I was at my sister's, I never went out and walked for the whole week. I could not leave her for even a minute. Now, prior to that, as long as she had her morphine and she was deep asleep, I could go out still at 4:30 from her house and take my walk. Of course, her husband was in the house, but I was her caregiver. So I knew she was safe, but that last week, no. I could not get out to walk at all. And I know that isn't good for me. But it was only a week, so that's okay. So now I have set very clear intentions on what I need to do, and I'm following those intentions. There are other ways and things that I could and should be doing, and they will definitely be added to the list. But I'm starting over from scratch, so I'm doing the best I can. I usually take vitamin D, and I take magnesium, and I take vitamin C. Well, I've been negligent on my vitamin C and my vitamin D, so I started taking that again. And with my magnesium, it's been hit or miss. So I'm making a very conscious effort to take that every day because that really helps with my sleeping. Another thing that was always part of my daily routine that I have totally neglected is listening to my music and dancing in the house. That is so uplifting for everybody. Music just brings joy to your heart and a smile to your face. And dancing, it just puts that joy all throughout your body. Plus, it's good for you. So, I'm starting tomorrow with playing my music and dancing again through the house. The way I keep moving all day long, because I feel it's important, is I kind of stretch things out. Now, this might not work for everybody because some people just want to get a job done. Where I not only think about getting the job done, but I also think about moving throughout my day. So I'll give you an example. When I'm back in the laundry room, which is back off my kitchen, and I'm folding clothes or ironing clothes or whatever, and it's time to put them away, I bring things in one at a time. If I iron a shirt, I bring it all the way back to the master bedroom, which is in the back of the house, and hang it up. Then I'll go back out and iron another top, and I'll do the same thing, walk it all the way back. So if I end up ironing 10 tops, I've made 10 trips throughout my house. And it's not that my house is that big, but it's keeping me moving. I fold towels, I'll bring in a couple at a time. I could carry the whole stack or put them in a basket and just make one trip, but I don't do that. I bring back a couple at a time so that I can make several trips. So that's just one of the ways that I keep myself moving because that's very important to me. I'm really trying to be mindful of all the ways that I need to take care of myself after neglecting myself for so long. And as I said, there are many ways, and these are just some of them. And the last thing I'll say is be patient with yourself. If you've let yourself go, if you've neglected yourself, don't beat up on yourself. Just acknowledge it, be grateful that you recognize it, and take those little steps to begin to get your life back on track. You are worth it. Your health, your life, your mental well-being is all very important, and it's worth the effort. Let me know in the comments section if there is something you do as far as self-care goes that you have neglected, or maybe that you do all the time, and maybe that's something else I could incorporate into my day and my self-care. And again, don't beat yourself up if this has happened to you, because it can happen for many reasons. Sometimes you can name the reason, sometimes you can't, but it doesn't matter, because as long as we wake up the next day breathing, we have another chance, another opportunity to start over and get it right. Well, now I'm going to leave you with an inside beauty tip. My inside beauty tip today comes from 1 Timothy 4:8. For physical training is of some value, but godliness has value for all things, holding promise for both the present life and the life to come. Well, what that says to me is, yes, we need to take care of our physical body and meet our own needs the best way that we can. But just as important, even more important, is to take care of our spiritual selves. By living a life devoted to God and to spiritual integrity and virtues and qualities such as compassion, love, humility, kindness. The list goes on and on. We can never neglect those things because that is what makes us who we are. That is what life is truly all about. And sometimes when one thing gets neglected, so does something else. So we have to be aware and be very conscious of that no matter what's going on, prayer is the answer. Living a godly life is the answer. And never losing that spiritual connection that we all need on a daily basis. Prioritize your spiritual growth and realize the eternal value that it has in your life. I thank you so much for being here today. I truly do appreciate it. And until we meet again, this is the old girl signing out. See ya.